everybody. Welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses, and the only podcast. On Anime Sickos, we take a look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
We got two patrons to thank real quick off the top. Our first is going to be Slam Dunk Rye. I know Slam Dunk Rye because they are in my record club, and they post like 1,000 words of writing that's way better than mine. So thank you for doing that, and also for giving us money.
Shout out to the Dunkster.
Yeah, you heard. Him.
This is a Guesto. We got a very excited Guesto to share. We're so pumped.
And our
Get that other patron. I want to help.
Yeah. Our other new patron. Do you know any guys named Dan who like are really problematic?
I only know producer Dan.
Well, fuck him, because our new patron is Cancel Your Dans.
Damn. Thank you. Dancel. Thank you, Dancel.
It's for fully danceled, folks. We got Dono from Radio Free Tote Bag going guest demo. Dono, thank you for joining us.
Yo, what the fuck is up? It's Friday.
Shit, it is. I see. Here's the thing about us is that we don't got no jobs, so every day's Friday in the sense of being depressed.
Are both of you unemployed?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll text him and be like, "You still don't have a job?" And he'll be like, "Yeah." And then we'll send that back and forth a little bit. Maybe that'll like land into something like a fulfilling employment opportunity, but I don't think it will.
I was really excited because I saw a listing for like black site doer / government overthrower, and I was like, I got that for sure. And then I saw about the 500 CIA people who were losing their jobs, and I'm like, they're gonna hire them instead. Fuck.
God damn it. It's a crowded market.
Yeah, it is.
No, I fucking empathize, homies. I was unemployed for like 6 or 7 months, maybe 8 months over last summer.
It's fun because like you intellectually understand like you are not your job. Your worth is not your job. Like you understand that. You absolutely understand that. And then like 6 months go by and you're like, so I had a false consciousness before.
Yeah. The only thing that matters is how much I can contribute. And it's real. It's not the system because I'm feeling this in here. It's not coming from out there. It's coming from in here. So it must be real.
Okay, well, you told the name of my show, and it doesn't tell you anything about what it is. I do a dating advice podcast with my co-host Audrey. We just hit 7 fucking years of this thing.
You've over 300 episodes.
7 years makes you an institution.
I remember when we started out, like we were friends with Street Fight Radio with fucking Brian and Brett back when they were both doing that. I think they were some of the first like at all high profile guests we had on. And being like, damn, they've been going for 10 years. That's fucking crazy. Can't even imagine. And now I'm like, Jesus, the time, it just doesn't fucking exist anymore. I wake up some days and it's several years later. And the days get longer and the weeks, the years go fast and the days go so slow. Modest Mouse.
I thought you were going to say the years start coming and they don't stop coming.
And also that Smash Mouth.
Yeah.
I was talking, so I want to give the context of advice show though, because I have some advice for where y'all are at. If you want to, I want to come on your show and give you some fucking wisdom.
We have no wisdom. Like,
we're famously
we're fucking stupid.
Like that's one of our core selling points. Is it like come see the fucking apes in the zoo?
Well, unfortunately, that's like my show also. Like I'm kind of the token idiot of the program. I forget how to say a word. I've said apropos 3 times in the past year, and Audrey makes fun of me every time. And I'm like, wait, I know it's apropos, and then I do it again. So I get that. I'm a fucking moron. Check this out though. So I've been through like a couple pretty long unemployment stretches, probably 3 of them. Like pandemic, there was like some health stuff before any of that, and then there was this most recent one, which was just not the best luck. I got some severance for once also though, so like that, I don't know, that helps. That covered me for part of it. In the past times when I've been unemployed, that shit has crept up on me. I recognize this is not my worth, but that feeling of, oh fuck, I got nothing. Am I ever going to have a job?
Yeah.
Am I ever going to like own a home or have a family? Damn, probably not. Am I just worthless garbage? Like going down that spiral? And that's fucking miserable. And my advice is reframe it as, because as soon as you start working, you're like, this shit sucks.
Yes,
And it sucks equally bad. It's just in a different way. Yes. And then you're like, I am a fucking wage slave, etc. My time, I have no time.
This is going to be my life. My brief years are going to be spent on this. Yeah, I feel that.
On a laptop all day long, hacking into the mainframe or whatever. So the thing that helped me in this last one and made it kind of rock is like, you just got to take it for granted. Financially, it sucks. This is a pain in the ass and all of these things, but like, you apply to jobs, you do what you can do. You got to be like, I have all of this free time. That's fucking sick. Don't let it be tainted by the other stuff. Just, what could I do with this time? That's sick. I was just like, I got a fucking agent for acting, and I was playing a bunch of synth last unemployment stretch, and I played my first show and stuff. Damn. That like energized me, because in the past ones, I just laid around depressed, being like, I will never find love or employment. Mm-hmm. So that's my top tip for unemployment.
Hell yeah. I gotta ask you this question. So I've been, and if you've listened to Anime Sickos, you may have heard me talk about this before. Since I think 2021, I've been like, I'm gonna learn to play piano, and so I've been doing that. And so the idea of synths is so like, it's like looking over the wall to like the cool kids, because it's like that's the same buttons. But also there's like a second part, which like, what? Huh? And so like, speak on this. What's the second part?
Okay, I'm fucking stoked you have expressed this, because this is where I was when I started with this 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. We need to hang out. I can show you this stuff at some point. It's like my favorite thing to share with people. Yeah, so like I grew up playing guitar and clarinet. I played in like a jazz band in high school. I wasn't incredible, but like I learned how to read music and to play Birdland and American Patrol and shit, which, in retrospect, Birdland, pretty cool choice from that jazz teacher.
Birdland whips ass, dude.
Fucking sick. I was in 10th grade. I squandered the opportunity. We fucked around most of the time. But so I did that stuff, but I was always, especially with guitar after that, I was always really self-conscious playing with other people. Like I would just get in my head and then I would play poorly and got discouraged. And so I quit music from like 2016, maybe 17, until 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So what is that? That's like 7 or 8 years. Yeah. I had like fully accepted, well, like too anxious to perform, and these instruments don't click with me, so I guess I will never play this. And I hated that, but I had like accepted it. And 2 years ago, I kind of realized I needed another artistic outlet. Like the show kind of proved to me I can make something if I stick to it. But I was like, I need an outlet for abstract stuff. Well, I've always liked electronic music, and I tried to learn Ableton fucking forever ago and didn't like clicking around the screen, and that didn't click with me. I have friends who fuck with synthesizers. Like, what if I got one of them? So I got a little... this isn't a video show, I guess.
I've looked at it's like, folks, imagine like there's like gamer lights like from a PC, and they're like going like in the background, and it looks like Dono is like in the control center for like where the Daft Punk guys like send funk missiles to like the forces of squareness.
The whole wall is a drum kit.
Yeah.
It fucking rocks. That's half of the fun of this shit, is it's blinking fucking lights and knobs and stuff to fiddle with. But so I got just like a standalone hardware synthesizer, because the computer stuff I'm on a computer all day for work and recording it.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to, I don't know, that didn't click with me. And I kind of realized, I don't know what a synthesizer is. I've heard this word, but it looks like a piano, and it sounds like the 80s was kind of my conception of it, right?
Yeah, my knowledge is it's a piano, and then sometimes in the middle of the song, the guy will like reach up and start turning some knobs really nervously, and then he starts playing again, and it sounds the same.
Well, if you know what you're doing, it doesn't sound the same. That the knob, that is 100% part of it. The whole deal, I don't want to go down this entire rundown because I will just info dump on you about this shit if I don't exercise self-control. But basically, it's all sound design. You can use those knobs and stuff to make the keys of the piano sound like all kinds of shit. Like a bass pluck, like a piano, like a guy screaming.
Is this where the reverb pedal also comes into play?
Kind of. So that's effects, right?
Yeah.
You got a sound, a guitar, maybe you go through a reverb pedal and it adds that echoey in a big room or a small room or whatever kind you got sound to it. That shit's sound design too. And I'm pointing to stuff and this is a tiny screen. This probably doesn't help at all. I have synths running through effects pedals like that too. That's another element of sound design is like that. Sending the signal through something like that to make it sound different. But synths are basically just that, but you got a wave that sounds like, a computer beep kind of noise. And you send that through a bunch of processing. That's what all the knobs are for. And depending on how you set up all that processing, it sounds different. And it's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
This sounds like a computer that it does not have the sin of being a computer.
Yes. Less screen, no awful social media integration into everything.
Probably no notifications, yeah.
No notifications.
It doesn't go boop unless you do that. Oh, shit. You know what you could really do if you were an evil guy is set up a bunch of sounds of the Discord notifications and the Slack message and
that's brutal.
Play a song of that. You could induce self-harm. You could make people jump off of bridges with that shit.
If you set up and did that as a street performance, like on the subway, people would kick your ass.
No, you put a bucket and you're 150 and I stop.
Stop for X amount of time and keep kicking the price up.
Yeah.
Unironically, that's a really fun idea to make a drum a drum kit of annoying notification sounds.
Just every sound in your
AirPods
life
dying.
that makes you have to disengage and shudder.
Yeah. That's extreme metal. It's gotten stale because everyone's playing the same guitar. What was the core? The core is something really harsh and awful to hear. That the new harsh and awful sound is a fucking Slack boop.
It's noise music, but the noise is the bad noises of technology.
Yeah.
Unironically, there's something there. Either as a comedy project or a little bit on the nose. We live in a society type art piece, but that has potential. That could be done well and really annoyingly.
Yeah, that's the whole point, isn't it? I'm sort of in the musical prison of I'm just playing stuff from sheets. I'm just I'm still working on my hands. And
wait, but you can read sheet music and play keys to it?
Yeah, but coming up with a new music, I have 0 seconds of experience with that, and so that's sort of I know that that's another path that I should go down, but when I have a piece of sheet music in front of me and I can play the keys, that is I can tell when I did that right or not, and when it's coming up with your own stuff, it's I don't know if that's right or not, and everyone's there's no such thing as right and wrong. It's motherfucker, shut the fuck up.
Shut your ass. Though. So I can't do that. I can kind of read music. I don't know. I know what all the notation means and stuff, but I don't play anything by sheet music. And I couldn't go back and play a clarinet part without kind of weeks of figuring that back out. So I can't do that. Writing music is just you hit stuff and eventually something sounds interesting and then you build on that.
And you go crazy doing it.
And you go sicko mode doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. So when have we not been going crazy? We've been going crazy since day fucking one. That's the main thing. Speaking of going crazy, you know what really goes crazy is time.gov. So we always use time.gov to sync up our tracks. The Doge fucking laid off the guy who does the CSS for time.gov because it looks different now and way worse.
It didn't really look good before.
It looked terrible.
If I be very
before.
clear, but there is a degradation of quality that has occurred that I can only assume is because like they fired everyone who controls the weather as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Almost certainly. They fired the clock master.
Yeah, it's awful.
Now it's a disaster.
We always talked about how the borderlines between the time zones are so wrong. Like they're obscene. Like they look disgusting. They're like worse than porno in terms of obscenity.
But this is how we're going to balkanize now. Like we can just follow the colors.
Before, so I guess what I wasn't aware of is that the line that we were seeing was sort of like stylized and sort of smoothed out. They have really jagged it up. It is so jagged and like unpleasant to look at this line now. Like it used to be that like going up and down Kansas and Nebraska, it was more or less straight lines. We're talking jiggy jaggies in and out. I hate it. I'm looking at it now and making me so fucking mad.
God, yeah, I hate this. Give me a curvaceous time zone, baby.
None of these time zones got big ass.
Give me an hourglass figure time zone. Oh,
Mountain Time's kind of close.
Mountain Time's got like looking at this through a very coarse, despicable lens, but building on the curvaceous line bit, it's got a titty on the left, the Mountain Time up top sticking out of Idaho. The fuck is that about?
Yeah, no, but none of these got. If anyone's got an ass,
true.
it's Central, and if that's the best we can have, then like that's.
You're talking about
shameful.
over Tennessee, Kentucky, that little bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Anyway,
Listen, you got to take what you can get. Anyway, I'm glad you invited me on your podcast where you sexualize the time zone barriers. I'm very proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, usually we just complain, but the sexualizing is new. It's fun.
Did I bring that element? Has no one
You
done this before?
absolutely did.
Whoa.
I mean, this is why we have guests on. You know, Joe and I, obviously, we have incredible rapport and incredible chemistry, and when we talk, it's the funniest thing that's ever happened. And no one is more comedically aligned than the two of us, and we'll never get stale. But sometimes we get a little stale, and so you got to get some new blood. We go new places. We thought Time.gum was played because we've talked about Time.gum like 50 fucking times, but we're getting new places, and I think that's all you know.
That's what's up. And you know what? I'm going to celebrate in the most professional of podcasting manners by just eating a piece of dark chocolate. Right up
Beautiful.
What percent dark chocolate?
Crunch on this. I can't remember. I think it was 70 something.
You really want to get up to those 90s where it's just dirt. That's where
Pure
it's
dirt.
at.
You can plant a tree in that shit.
Crumbles to dust in your mouth.
Yeah, make your mouth inexplicably dry forever. That's the stuff. We got to ask you, since you're here as our wonderful guest, the question we ask all guests, which is...
Yes, I would fuck the time zone lines. Next question.
Okay, good. Next
Okay,
question,
cool.
Joe.
Okay,
Got the first one out of the way.
Good. Number 2 was, are you an anime sicko? And you can respond to this in any way you want.
Yeah, I mean, I jerk off to hentai pretty frequently.
Okay, that'll do it. That'll do
Yeah.
it. Go.
Generally, it's a little more abstract, but I guess that counts.
I newer to anime. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say, because I don't know. I watched like Pokemon growing up, and that's technically anime, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That the sin is on you. I see the mark.
And I played like the Final Fantasy games, like FF7 and X, I think.
Those are gateway drugs.
I see the mark. It's glowing.
That shit is anime, right? Like,
Yes.
I mean, all
Look
that
at his
art.
hair.
Of the
Look at
characters.
Cloud's hair.
Clearly anime hair.
The way that the stories are paced in an insane way where they put a lot of work into the beginning and then they go, oh shit, oh fuck, oh god, we gotta ship the game. And then they make like the next 3 towns you go to, you're in there for like 5 minutes and then they do a big backstory about the doggy. Yeah, that's anime. That is like pure anime.
So I had exposure to it, right? But like, I think that as a kid, I think I would have said I didn't watch anime because I was like aware of Dragon Ball and I didn't understand that, so I don't watch that. And then in high school, probably I don't know. I was a shitty internet forum kid when I was in high school. And like, so I was aware of weebs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
As well aware
yes.
of weebs and their exploits.
So did it like negatively polarize you against it a little bit because you're like, oh, these are the people that are associated with this. Maybe I don't need to get into Dragon Ball.
I think so, to be honest with you. And I wasn't like a cool teenager.
I mean, yeah, I know. You just said you were on the forums. Like I heard that we have you on fucking tape with that.
I was doing that in parkour, but so I was too cool for that shit. I was like, I can't be associated with that. That would ruin my style. Yeah, and so then in college at some point, somebody I dated showed me some Ghibli movies, and I was like, damn, this is sick. Maybe anime can be a thing of beauty. Hey, maybe there's something to this anime stuff after all.
You always get that lie.
They trick you. That's how they get you.
Where you're like, is there more here? And then you're like, oh, no.
But then early quarantine time, we started, I don't know, we met the Street Fight guys and started meeting like other podcast people in the kind of sphere that we exist in. Mm-hmm. And did y'all ever listen to Ballin' Out Super?
Yeah.
Back when that was a thing?
Yeah. Yes.
Fucking back when Alex Patak and Katie Rose Leon were on it. Got onto that show somehow, loved it, listened even though I'd never seen Dragon Ball just because they're very funny and it was, I don't know, it's a little like your show. The anime is not necessarily the focus.
Yeah.
But through that process, I was like, damn, these tropes are pretty funny. I get a better idea of like what the culture behind this is. I gotta check some of this shit out. And I didn't have anything to do because this was one of them unemployment stretches. And this is before I was playing music. I was doing a lot of sitting around.
Oh, that's a classic move. We're experts at that.
Oh, I love laying on the floor lately, but yeah, sitting's good.
Both good in their own way. both hit different. Both hit different. So I expressed this to my friend, one of my good friends who lives here, who, you know, we went to high school together, actually. He's also not like a weeb kind of person, but, you know, had fallen into the anime.
Mm-hmm. You trust their judgment, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So I was like, give me some animes that I would like. You know me, give me some animes. And I watched Mob Psycho 100. That's the one he recommended.
That's a good friend to tell
that
you
shit rocks.
Shit.
Oh my God.
And I was like, damn, okay, wait, I fuck with anime. Because I'd seen, I forgot, like I went on Ballin' Out Super, so I watched some Dragon Ball. I watched Hellsing Ultimate, an episode of that.
Fucking love. I love Hellsing. I love when there is a guy who gets blown apart and shot, and then he just like gets back together because his blood goes in reverse. I never get sick of that.
And there's like a weird Nazi catboy or something in that show too. It was the one episode I saw is weird as fuck. And then I watched. It's like a harem anime. It's a boy and his many space girlfriends.
Is this a Tenchi Muyo or?
It was Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, you get that you're describing like 1,000 shows.
Well, yeah, learn that's like a whole genre, which is insane but fascinating to me.
And those are like, there's like not a lot of action until like the end of every Tenchi Muyo series because he's like the guy, right, or something, and he has to like fight something with a sword. I just remember as a kid who was not like super interested in the concept of a harem anime because like why is Goku not on the fucking screen? That's what I remember. It's just like these fights are no good.
I think that I watched one episode completely out of context. I feel like there was no fighting. I feel like it was anime ladies fawning over this weird hot dog boy. So I was like, wow, there's like a range of shit that anime can be, and it can get really weird like this, and I don't get it. So fucking that was the context for this. So I watched Mob Psycho 100, and I'm like, I'm seeing some of the anime, like I get the context of this a little more. Mm-hmm. Like some of the things that are like anime things or whatever, as opposed to watching it in a vacuum. But I'm like, okay, we got a main character who's like a funny con man That's sick. There's like the classic anime boy, shy boy, but he has powers. But it ends up being like heartfelt. Like initially I'm like, okay, like I get the trope, but by the end I'm like, this is beautiful. This is a heartwarming story.
The fact that he's like just stronger than everything is just a foregone conclusion. So it's not like, oh, is he going to be able to do it? It's just like, no, can he get his feelings in check about this?
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. We need to do a Mob Psycho. This is neither here nor there, but like about 100 times in the last 2 years, Joe and I have been like, okay, next episode is Mob Psycho 100 Season 3. Let's both sit down and watch it, and then we'll do that. And then 3 months go by, and we're like, we both forgot to watch Mob Psycho Season 3. But this time we won't. And no, it hasn't happened yet.
And then you do it again. I'm familiar.
Yeah.
The thing that stood out to me with that show, though, and this is kind of the premise of my show, I like a blend between dumb comedy and, like, sincerity. Like, I'm a fucking moron, but I'm pretty self-actualized. I'm pretty emotionally aware of myself. And I appreciate people in, like, media that portray that in a sincere way that, like, you know, a certain type of person might consider, like, corny. But I think when that's done well, even if it is a bit corny, I appreciate that energy. That's the energy I try to bring. I'd rather be corny than cringe. And so that show really clicked with me. I really, really fucked with that. And then I watched One Punch Man because that's the same guy.
Yeah, same concept.
It is kind of the same premise, isn't it? That was really good, too.
Yeah, that One Punch Man is just sort of what if Mob Psycho was just a straight comedy and it didn't have the heartfelt part so much. It would be good, is the answer.
So I watched that and liked it. I watched a couple movies that I can't remember what they were, just a friend showing me some anime stuff. I watched most of Evangelion and I want to finish it. But every time I think about it, I'm like, damn, that show was so fucking heavy.
Yeah.
Do I want to sit down and like have an existential crisis right now? I got probably halfway through the first season, so like I can feel where it's going and I'm afraid. But I liked it a lot also. I think that's it. I think that's all of them. So I'm a fucking anime sicko, bro.
Yeah, the sicko vibes are coming off you intense. Now, this is something a lot of guests, a sort of misconception. We say, "Are you an anime sicko?" And people, what they hear is, "Do you watch anime?" And those are very different questions. I think the key to being an anime sicko is you have to be like one of them, like incredible freaks, and. Yeah, I think that all of us gathered here today fit that description. So, like, hell yeah, I'm very pleased. I mean, from the second you talked about when I was in high school, I was always posting on the forums. I'm like, okay, this is an incredible freak. Like,
yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
But it is good. That's the thing. That's the inherent contradiction of sicko mindsets. Like, all these things are so fucking stupid and bad. ... But ... And hell yeah.
I think there's two ways you can come out of that, because I think we're around the same age. There was a window, if you went to high school like late 2000s, early 2010s, of the internet being mainstream enough and developed enough that you could find the fucked up forums and stuff without, like, you had a computer and all of this stuff. People who grew up in that, I feel like it's a pretty hard divide between you either
got tainted or not.
Well, I think you get tainted either way. You're tainted but aware of it and cool, or you're a fucking weird Nazi guy. Like, that seems...
Yeah.
It seems like that's it. There's no in between those things. It either makes you cooler or it makes you way fucking worse.
We talk about this... on and off. I believe we talked it with when we had Merritt K on as a guest, which is like,
oh hell yeah.
There's no like, not saying shame should be felt about it, but there is currently not enough shame being felt about it. So like,
yeah.
I just,
the amount of shame shouldn't be like a problem or like really hurt you,
but it can't be non-zero.
Yeah,
or it has to be non-zero rather.
It needs to be enough to temper it. You need to know not to bring up dumb internet shit at work on a first date.
Especially when your work is country, is the earth.
Right.
And you go to work and you're, oh my God, JD Vance talking about hell, dude. Did you see that? I wanted to fucking...
The vice president
What?
shouldn't know about like specific posters. Like that should not be a thing. And he also shouldn't
draw breath. Shouldn't draw breath.
He
You should be in the fucking ground in a box. Just hanging out, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
He can get out at any time.
Yeah.
Like what? Just a cool. Hey, we built a fort underground. You can lay down in here. This rocks.
Yeah, lying on the floor is so it hits different.
Of the many SpongeBob memes, I think the best is the one where he is gesturing to the open coffin. That is the one that has the sauce, unlike the others.
Yeah. Oh, the one where he's saying, "Hey, check. Hey, look, it's me, your friend SpongeBob. Look at this cool fort I built that allows you to lay underground."
Yeah.
I love that meme.
We love it. New segment. We're gonna do a mini version of Dono's show, Radio Free Tote Bag. There's some fucking questions. We're gonna get asked questions and we're gonna answer them like geniuses, because we're both married, so we're perfect at relationship.
That is true, though. People come on our show, like married people, and are like, "Oh, I don't know how much advice I'm gonna. I've been married for 10 years," and my co-host and I are like, "Yeah, we're not fucking. You did it. Like you succeeded. You're gonna give better advice than we did. We're still fucking figuring it out." Okay, so I got two potential ones. Y'all got to pick between these. And given that you're married, probably one's better than the other one. These are both from 2 years ago.
So still relevant.
So still relevant. I'm sorry. If you're listening, I'm sorry. Here's your options from 3/14/2023. I've been thinking of proposing to my GF in the next few months. What are some proposal do's and don'ts? Right in y'all's wheelhouse. Or, what makes for a good dating app profile? I cannot rely on my looks, but I am fun and make good conversation when I get the chance.
Let's do the second one first. People need to see that you're fluent in sarcasm.
Yes. They need to know that you like to go on adventures.
Whiskey is a thing that you will drink sometimes.
In your profile, you got to connect with other people, right? And these are strangers, so you got to find something you can really connect on. So, like maybe a show like The Office. That everybody loves and enjoys.
Yes.
Just let people know how much you like that, and they'll say, "I also love that show," and you're off to the races.
And if you can't rely on your looks, you got to put a picture. So what are you going to do? Well, one thing that you really don't want to come across as on dating sites is some sort of weird loner, because you're going to be scary to be around. So it's like, how do I make it clear that like I have friends, like I have a life, and like I'm in a community already? Well, all of your pictures should be you in a group.
That's a great idea. Because the more that you have, the more kind of evidence of look at all these social situations.
Yeah, you don't need to fix me. I'm doing great. Legitimately, this is the most terrifying question, and there are many reasons I'm glad I'm married, but high among them is, oh Lord, the apps are scary. I don't know, dude.
It's bad, and they've gotten worse.
Yeah.
How long have both of you been married? How long y'all been together?
Me and Joe, we've been hanging out for like something like 10 years. I've been with my wife. We've been together for going on 12 years, been married for, I believe, 5 of them.
Shit. Okay, so you have not dated in a long fucking time.
Yeah, Tinder was not yet out when
Damn.
I got off the market. Which,
Damn.
holy shit, that was like, I could like feel the wind of the bullet go by my head.
Tinder started when I was dating and I found my wife. Not through Tinder. We used Coffee Meets Bagel, which I think has since changed.
Yeah, yes, it has.
What is it now?
When I used it, the premise was like, At least this is the sense I got, that it was like maybe people were like a little more professional. It was like maybe people who were like a little more career focused. And the other thing I liked about it is that you only got like 5 matches a day. So you weren't doing like this endless swiping shit. So I met my wife through there, and we dated for, I met her, she was starting residency. We've been married now for 2-3. The funny thing is we bought a place together before we got married because we were like, you can't live in a wedding.
Shit.
You like, it's not.
No, that's a very good point.
And then the moment where you asked this other person to marry you, like, what did that look like for us? For us, it was after a very bad day when we were both just sitting on the stairs like, fuck. And they were like, do you want to get married? And I know that doesn't sound like inspiring, but like it was just like for who we were, it was the most on brand and correct way to do it.
No, that's really adorable, to be honest with you. That's a sweet way to propose.
Yeah.
I have almost exactly the same story. Not the buying a house first, but it was like so clear that it was going to happen. Like we were living together. It was like people say like, when you get married, it's different. Things change. You won't know until it happens, but you'll feel the difference. Wrong. And maybe for someone else, me getting married, here's what was different. On one day, I had a big party and people gave me things for free. And then I went back to exactly the same shit, and it has never changed. Non-derogatory. I'm very pleased that is the case. However, the way it went is like we were like, obviously we're gonna get married. Like, let's wait till we have more money, because at that time we had both terrible jobs and no money. Since then, now we have one good job and like medium money, and like water treading money, but. At that time, we had no money and very bad jobs. I believe at that point, my wife had no job. And so she was feeling this feeling. And I came home from work, and I had a terrible day. And she was just in a pit. And it was fucking dead of winter, like dark at 4, just the worst. And she's just like, I need something good to happen today. You want to get married? And I said, I went, and then I thought about it for a second, and I'm like, I don't want to tell anyone today, though, because I'm really fucking tired. She's like, no, we'll do it on the weekend. It's like, okay. Whoo! On the weekend. 2 fun facts about that. 1, that day, unbeknownst to us, was Valentine's Day. That is completely a coincidence. We don't celebrate it, really. And the second fun fact is that, so that was a Tuesday. We were going to tell people on the weekend. On that, Thursday, my buddy invited me and a bunch of our homies for dinner at a nice restaurant, and the thing was hey, I got this coupon and it's for 4 people, so let's all go. And then we get there and I can tell oh, he's gonna say some shit, and he's like, me and my girlfriend just got engaged, and I had to be I had to send him a text I'm not copying you and I'm not making this up. I also did that.
But we actually did it a little better, so...
Yeah. What can I say? So that kind of answers the second question. What's the do's and don'ts of a proposal? Get really depressed.
Yeah, if you're thinking about where you're going to have the ring out, you've lost. Think about where you're going to be sad. During the week, where's your lowest? When is the point where you're barely able to move forward? That's where you want to make it happen.
Yeah.
You got to buy low, is what you're saying.
Yes, because a wedding is a wonderful thing. So if you start in the red, the party you throw is going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so smart. And that's the other thing. People overthink it. It really just it doesn't fucking... holidays is deciding to host a party.
An expensive one. A very expensive one that has legal implications, but yeah.
But I have all these fucking friends who have their 10-year partner who lives with them. They own a fucking condo together, and I'm just what the fuck? Every day that you stay boyfriend and girlfriend, all that is you're denying me a dinner. I could I could dress up, have a dinner, and dance on the floor. And you go, no. Every day you say, Tom does not get a dinner. And, man, I hate that. Get married.
It's abusive not to get married. It's abusive to deny your partner a tasty dinner, a rendition of Mambo number 5,
The chicken dance.
a chicken dance, the fucking cha-cha slide, whatever the fuck that's called. That's a good point.
A Sweet Caroline for your uncles, for the over 40 crowd. Over 40, God, I'm pretty much over 40 at this point. And what am I saying? Put Sweet Caroline out there. I'm saying ba 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 with the best of them.
Absolutely. I'm punctuating those lines by putting my drink up into the air excitedly.
Yeah.
So what y'all are saying is what makes a good dating app profile is basically you got to get married when you're depressed. That's kind of the answer to that.
Yeah, I will.
That's where y'all are at.
Can I share a dating app profile that our friend Josh had that I'm obsessed with because it's just very funny?
Is this mutual friend Josh or is this a different Josh?
This is a different Josh. This is not Josh from the worst of all possible worlds.
Oh no, this is a different Josh. But the Tinder profile was simply, "Hello, this is Josh's dad. Please stop trying to fuck my son." And it's just like, that's it, dude. Like
That's really good. That's really fucking good. I'm jealous of that.
I had the same feeling where I was like, oh, if only I could have put those words in that order ever.
Yes. Like, there are so many times where, like, 'cause we've been doing this podcast and we've been doing other stuff, creative stuff. Like, I've been trying to put comedy into the world and be a creative person for over a decade and a half at this point. And I feel like I'm pretty good at it. And then every once in a while, someone who hasn't spent fucking decade and a half doing grinding will just drop something 1,000 times funnier than all of my bits put together. And that's one of... Stop trying to fuck my son.
Yes, he took the phone and put that in there. You know, like, it's just wonderful, the execution of it.
Unironically, that's part of my answer for what makes a good dating app profile, though. Is you got to think, especially if you are a guy and you're out there swiping. Women are like getting a million matches with people.
Yeah.
You got to really wade through them. And most people's like messages and profiles are kind of boring because like most people are bad at this shit. It's also not a great avenue for everybody for expression. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not easy to like come up with a good profile and a message to like hook somebody, you know? And you kind of got to be like this to do it. But make something dumb that stands out, basically. That's not going to work if you're like an accountant guy who doesn't, ever go out and like is trying to get married and like raise 2 kids and like do the kind of trad thing. Because you're not a fucking
You can't
weirdo.
be the
You're a guy.
uncool... Like, you can't do that if you're the uncool accountant guy. I get that.
You got to be a weirdo.
You're not writing into Radio Free Tote Bag unless you are one of the great freaks.
That is very true. We got some.
So, like, it applies.
And I say this in a very complimentary way. We got some absolute freaks in the listenership. It rocks. And I say this also as one.
Of course. You got to be one of the great freaks to be sort of a worthwhile person in my estimation.
But that's my ideal dating profile. It's just some stupid shit that captures the attention. I will also say, though, like, depending on what you're looking for, especially if you're looking for something specific, it depends on the app, too. Like, I see a lot of people on Field. I don't think that was around back in those days. This is a dating app.
This up.
This is focused pretty much on, like, kink people and poly people and queer people.
Okay.
I thought that's what Tinder was.
Tinder is kind of the McDonald's of dating apps these days.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of there. It's not very good, but it kind of works. It's McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so how many would you say are like active in the sense that they are worth using? Tinder, Field, how many are there?
So There's a lot of apps these days, folks. You see them more and more. You're hearing about these apps. You're seeing more and more of them. Damn, we're gonna get really into the fucking relationship words over here, and some of this shit is like newer to me. I am solo poly. Are you familiar with this term? You know anything about polyamory and shit?
I'm familiar with the
Solo-
concept, but not that specification.
Yeah, solo polyamory, my guess would be like you jack off while thinking of many different people.
Or you have a bunch of dicks.
Yeah, you're jerking off multiple of your own dick at once. That is what this is.
No, I don't know what it is.
So, polyamory generally, you're dating multiple people romantically, right? There's a bunch of different arrangements that could go under there. Somebody who like has a quote unquote primary partner, or maybe is like married to somebody, and they live together, but they're also both dating and having romantic relationships with other people. It could look like that. It could look like I'm in romantic relationships with a bunch of people. We do relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the fuck, like relationship shit. But nobody is kind of like above another you know what I mean? There's not like a hierarchy to it. And then there's kind of broken people like me who are trying to do a lot of work on that. The whole solo poly thing is like, I'm seeing different people, and I'm direct about where I'm at. I like having an emotional connection, kind of romantic relationship, but I don't want to do kind of the expectations around like a monogamous relationship, like a traditional one, just in terms of we're going to spend a ton of time together. You know, we're going to meet each other's parents, and then we're going to get like married, you know, that kind of thing. Not to say like there's anything wrong with that, but like this point in my life. But I'm also just not trying to like fuck people and then blow them off or whatever. Like I care about the people I'm seeing quite a bit. But the solo part being, I am putting that kind of energy into like building my own life. Because I don't want to completely go into like my history on here. Listen to my show for that.
Yeah. There's hundreds of episodes. I'm sure you've gotten into it once or twice.
But like I've been working through a bunch of shit the past couple of years. I traditionally like was in monogamous relationships, was in a couple that were really fucking codependent. And I had the cool realization after getting out of one 2 years ago that what I had thought of as love, my definition of love, was codependency.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. That's
that just, you're like, oh, this feeling of requiring this other person, that's love.
This intent, because it's the most intense, so that must be what love is. I realized I was falling into that shit. And so getting out of that, I was like, damn, wow, that comes from trauma and attachment styles and things, I've figured out about myself. I'm going to figure all of that out before I'm like, okay, I'm going to like move in with somebody again, And we're making good progress. And like the synth stuff and the acting stuff I do has been part of that, of just, what the fuck do I want out of life and who am I? And I need to be able to articulate that clearly and be like working towards that. As opposed to, for most of my 20s, I felt like I was kind of just going with the fucking flow.
Yeah.
So big fucking roundabout tangent with that, of saying what that kind of poly is. But I don't like using the term because there's lots of stigma to this shit, and like,
yeah.
You can use this terminology to be an asshole. We just did a whole episode about this, of people kind of using non-monogamy speak in the way people use therapy speak to be a piece of shit.
Sure.
That is unfortunately not an uncommon thing.
Yeah, we have a sketch where the opening non sequitur joke is two people on a date, and one of them says, like, oh, so it's called ethical non-monogamy? And the other one goes, oh, no, sorry, it's a common misconception. It's actually evil non-monogamy.
For real, though. And I don't know. A lot of our listenership and my co-host are poly, and I don't know, learned things through them and over the course of doing my show. And it's good, and it can be done well. It's just, much like a plane crash. it's an explosive event when because there's more people involved and it's novel. So people, if something messy happens with a poly person, people are like, well, poly shit is messy. It just got more messy potential.
An interesting response to the question, how many apps do people use these days?
It's been a long day. I go on fucking big tangents.
I mean, here's the thing. That's all podcasts are. Anyone out there is like, I wonder if I could start my podcast. Like,
are you able to mumble a tangent that is kind of related and then kind of taper off? Oh, baby, you're ready. Go buy a mic.
Like, like, can you talk? Like, when you open your mouth, does talk come out? Like, that's it. There's no second step.
That's showbiz, baby. Field is the app for that shit. That's one of the ones that I use. And that's pretty good. Tinder has gotten super monetized and shitified, like many apps have. Still kind of, I'm on there. It kind of works. It's not great. Bumble, a little bit better than that. Hinge, maybe a little bit better than that, but they're all pretty shitty, to be honest with you.
I know that Bumble's the one that Jack Posobiec was on, because people call him Bumble Jack, to make fun of him.
Because he was on the particular dating app.
While married, though, he was like in the Navy, and he was like a right wing guy who was just doing all this, constant bullshit posting. And then someone was just like, "Oh shit, I think I just found him on this app."
That's awesome.
Not quite as relevant, but as long as we're talking about like, oh shit, the right wing guy in real life. For a while, my wife had a miserable job that made her go insane, where she did customer service for one of the meal kits that they send you food. So a lot of people calling her on the phone and saying insane things. And one time she had a phone call from someone. She's like, this is the most annoying voice I ever heard in my life. And he kept complaining that the shrimps that they gave were smaller than the shrimps on the picture, and it was misleading. And so I thought that it would be enough for dinner to have this amount, but it wasn't, because the shrimps were actually too small, and it was not filling. And she's like, God, this guy had the most annoying voice. And she looked at the name on the account, and it was Ben Shapiro.
That's awesome.
And I was like, surely it can't be. And I got a clip of him, and she's like, oh, that's him.
Jesus Christ. I mean, it scans completely, but incredible.
Like, hypothetically, would you not say that the picture of the shrimps should accurately depict the amount of shrimps that you get in the meal kit? God, I hate that guy. Anyway.
That guy sucks, but let's go on another tangent here real quick. Tiny shrimps also kind of fucked up. You ever get food where the shrimp's really tiny?
Yeah. It's okay on a taco. It's fine.
Okay, that's true.
But
it's like bug sized. That's upsetting to me.
I like shrimp, although I had a bad shrimp taco, and it you ever have a food that's just not good, so it's like this food is now on cooldown until your body decides it can do it again. And I had that with shrimp. I think I'm winding down with that, which is interesting because my wife she really likes shrimp, so she'll be like, "Do you want to get shrimp?" And I'm like, "If it's breaded, sure." I'm still waiting on. It was a very slimy piece of shrimp in a taco, and my brain was just like, "This is how it always is now,"
Yes, dude. The cooldown is so fucking real. Like, there was this. I was visiting my in-laws, and they have these little biscotti, these little mini bite-sized biscottis that I was going nuts for. I was devouring them, and they gave me a bunch to take back home with. And on the plane trip back, I caught the stomach flu, and so immediately I got home, and I was fucking puking, and I felt closer to death than I have in my entire life. And during that time, the bag of little biscottis was in front of me, and so I would try to eat, when I was well, I'm like, maybe I'll have one of these. And I look at the bag, and I'm like,
oh no.
And I think it's been many years, and I think I'm just off cooldown for those little biscottis.
Did you eat one while you were sick, or was this literally just by visual association?
The onset of the symptoms was so awful that I was sort of rooted in place. I couldn't move, because I'm if I move, it might get worse. And so I'm just sitting perfectly still, very cognizant of how awful I feel. Basically, all of my mental energy is spent really savoring the hell feel, and my head is sort of like locked in place, and what's right in the middle of my field of view but these biscottis. Like, I didn't even, like, I couldn't smell them, I wasn't eating them, I couldn't taste them. However,
It's the only thing that was there.
yes, everything about them is like, them's equal, you puke out everything you got.
That sucks, man. Those guys are pretty good. That's
Yeah.
a terrible thing to have happened.
They were so little that, like, you could eat them without dipping. You know, mostly biscottis you got to dip.
Yeah.
But these you could eat with or with. I mean, obviously they're great when you dip in your coffee, in your tea, any sort of hot drink. But a lot of the times with biscottis, you're sort of like shackled to a hot drink. It's just like, if I don't have a hot drink, I can't eat
What am I
it.
even
But you
doing?
could.
Damn,
shame.
that's unfortunate. I don't think I have anything on cooldown recently, but I'm familiar with this. It's particularly the texture thing, like a slimy shrimp.
Yes. I don't drink.
Just fucks you.
I don't drink a ton, but I also would have that if you have, like, you just have a night out and you're drinking one thing and it's just too much, and then your brain is just like, I can never have this again.
I have that with Southern Comfort, because in high school we had shitty fakes that wouldn't work at the state liquor store, but it would work at the gas station. So we'd get the 21% SoCo, because in Ohio you can only like sell up to 21%. It's like watered down. I think it was even like sweeter, and even the smell of SoCo still just fucks shit.
Oh yeah, we did early times, which is
Oh no.
yeah, plastic bottle for sure.
Yeah.
Earl Y times, as we called it.
That Kamchatka. That was the plastic bottle one. Each state, I've moved around the country a bunch. Each state has its own local shitty liquor, plastic bottle liquor. Mm-hmm. Are y'all from here? What is the one around here? Because I realize I don't actually know.
I'm from. We're both from the burbs. I'm not equipped to answer because, like, I also don't drink a lot, and the times that I did drink a lot was because this was sort of before streaming was like a known thing. So I'm basically a pioneer, and I invented it. But there was we would have events where I would play Amnesia, the horror game, on the big screen because I had gained a reputation for being so fucking scared that it was hilarious, which was not an act. That was all real. However, when that happened, people would just put cups in front of me, and I would just boom every time.
Oh, shit.
Because I'm just like, I need to get through this. I'm too spooked. I know. I'll simply have no sensation whatsoever, and that'll solve the problem. So I don't know what was in those cups is the answer to that question, and thus I got nothing. Joe, what about you?
The question was what? Or
What's the local shitty liquor brand?
Well, people like Malort is not like it's like an event. It's like a local delicacy.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
supposed to be bad, but it's not like the thing. Honestly, I think it's just a big enough metro area where it's just the Kirkland vodka in the big jug. I really do. And then like all the Kirkland liquors are the same vodka, but then for the whiskey they just put brown food coloring in it, I assume.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I worked for Costco.
I gotta find this out. It might be like Burnett's or something, because I think that's one of the national ones. Alcoholic listeners will know what's up with this stuff.
We made Josh, not the Josh whose dad doesn't want fine honeys to fuck him, but Josh Borman from Worst of All Possible Worlds. Dono, you and I met in real life prior to this because he was in town.
We
met
did
at the Logan Arcade.
Through the homie.
And he was made to have a Malort. He made a funny face. It's prescribed. It's always the same, but it's in fun.
It's an event. It's a little activity.
You got a taste of the Tom going to the bar experience, which is I go to the bar, I hang out a little bit, maybe I see a friend or a homie and chat for a little bit, and then I look at my watch and I say 9:45, get out of here and go home.
I'm more on that wavelength these days. I'm not a huge drinker anymore. But yeah. I was on the rugby team in college and high school, so I was drinking a lot of the plastic bottle liquor, and
I drank one night with the Loyola rugby team, the women's rugby team, and I have never been drunk under the table like that before. Like, I'm not joking. Like, it was like they were a different species, and I'm not a guy who's like, yeah, I'll drink, I'll keep going. Like, I'm not like that. I was just merely keeping pace, but it was like it didn't affect them.
Yeah, when you said I was drinking with the Loyola women's rugby team, I thought that was the start of the story that explained how you've been dead all along.
It is not an exaggeration. It was like fucking hazing with that stuff.
Yeah.
But I probably had a problem back then, so I was just kind of rolling with it.
A need to be liked and a substance? Hell yeah.
We're the anime sickos, and we're here to say anime is bad in a war crimes way.
Folks, remember how we do that fucking tier list of all the game mechanics? We always say we should have a guest do it with us. And you know what we do? We do the classic anime sickos move of forgetting about that shit. Not anymore. We're going to fucking rank the game mechanics in a tier list. Dono, and for the listener, if you don't know, here's how it goes. We have a big list of 336 game mechanics, close to all of them. There may be one or two we haven't written down yet, but it's pretty much everything you can do in a video game. And we have our tier list. S tier obviously means that it should be in every game. A means it is almost always a good thing to have. You have your hand raised. Tell me.
Where did these come from?
Our brain.
We just fucking thought them up.
You pulled 300, you brainstormed over 300 game mechanics?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
was
fucked up.
We did say we were unemployed, dude. Were you not listening before?
Was this in one session, or is this like a living document?
Many sessions,
Okay.
and
I was
we
like
can't
an
do this
image
all
of
at
y'all
once.
two in a room, just like, all right, double jump.
That's how it started.
For days.
Yeah.
Days locked in a room, feverishly fucking scrawling notes on Post-it notes littered around the room.
I'm not going to say what the rest of the fucking... it's a tier list. The letter gets better the higher up it goes. You get how that fucking works. Let's do one. Joe, throw me a ridiculous thing.
Sure, a game lets you get drunk.
I love this straight up. I'm going to tip my hand immediately. It's funny when they do this.
Big supporter.
The Yakuza games are good for this because you obviously stumble, but you get like a bonus, right? Like you like get damage resistance actually. So just like being really drunk in real life, it gives you powers.
Yeah. It's also, this is a classic thing. Like, this type of thing is great in video games where like you never have to drink alcohol in the game, and and you can say you don't have to drink alcohol in real life, but in real life it tastes good and you enjoy it, which doesn't in the game because it's fucking made up. So like the fact that it's even an option is ridiculous, which is what makes it so funny.
I love that. I love stupid shit and I love whimsy, and this is kind of both of them. Because I like a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. You've got like a very open-ended medium. You can do stuff like this. I think you should be able to get drunk in every single game. Final Fantasy VII, fucking shithouse cloud, fuck up blowing up the reactor at the beginning. Everybody dies. That'd be a cool
There should
mechanic.
be
I love the beginning of that game because people are like, what are the politics of this game? And it's like, hello, we're going to do eco-terrorism because of capitalism. Are you clear on this? I'm going to take what you said and I'm going to just modify it slightly. I think a rule should be that if you have an open world game, you got to let a guy get drunk.
Yes, for sure, 100%. Because like I can see there are games where it has a very strong focus and it wouldn't make sense to let the character get drunk, like
Tetris.
Mario,
Oh.
Tetris. The
The next piece section is just wrong. Like it's
Also, I think we got to be clear. So this was sort of implied by game lets you get drunk. If the game has like a story beat where your character gets drunk and you can't avoid it, That doesn't
That
count.
doesn't
That's
count.
something else.
That doesn't count. On level 37 of Tetris, where all the blocks get really drunk and they all start trauma dumping at the same time, that doesn't count. That's part of the storyline.
But like, if you can at any time go, like in Yakuza, go to the bar and like order 5 like Suntory very specials, which like is they have a real picture because like Suntory paid to put it in there, and you have a little icon of a wiggly bottle, and you kind of walk funny. That's what we're talking about.
That is what
That's
it's like.
good.
Y'all ever play? I'm a little bit of a gamer. I'm a little bit. I've gone through kind of waves in my life. You ever play Deep Rock Galactic?
I fucking love that game. I think that is,
yeah,
for my money, I think it's the best co-op game currently.
100% agree.
It's if you're not familiar with it, the point of the game is that you are 4 space dwarves. Like they're just like regular dwarves. I don't really fucking know. And
They're in space.
yeah, and you work for a company that is like, just so you know, like we don't value your lives. And then
So a company.
every mission is just like you get a drop shipped into, like it's a drill. A drill just goes into a planet, and you have to go get resources in a overflowing bug planet. But what makes it wonderful is that it's 4-player squad-based co-op. The classes all do different things, and all of the terrain is destroyable. By which I mean, like, if you want to get nutty and like do some engineering, you can actually fucking do it.
Can you get drunk?
And you can get drunk. And before every mission, there's a bar. And it's like, you have to, I think, is it 3 drinks? Is like, you're now drunk. You have the buff now. Like,
There's different like strengths between them. There's some that give you like a power up, and that's cool. But there is just ones that the screen gets all fucking wiggly, and then it carries into the mission. Which there's no benefit to that. There's no reason to do that other than for the love of the game, I guess, and to piss everyone else off. And I love that kind of option in a game because it is a very good game. And then you just have this stupid mechanic that you don't have to do thrown into there. And you can like pass out from being drunk and stuff. And
yeah, there's like
talking
also
drunk.
like ones that have like purposely just bad effects. I think one of them is that it just makes it so you teleport uncontrollably.
Teleport out into space and
Yes,
stuff.
so you just eventually die. Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, that's it. That's a good yes.
Tom, you ever played it? You got to play this game if you haven't. It's really good.
I do. See, my thing is that I like single player games because I don't want a game to involve scheduling. But what you're describing sounds so good that I might have to do it.
It is
regardless.
literally made for drop in and drop out. And by that, I mean, like, if you were playing a game and I was like, oh, I'll jump in, my little drill pod will fucking plop next to you and my dwarf will get out immediately. Like, it's set up for that very well. And it's just great.
Okay.
It
Damn,
rocks.
okay.
It
And you can
rocks.
get drunk in it. I'm hearing at least a A.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Game lets you
I'm
get
giving
drunk.
an A to this mechanic.
Hey.
Yeah, folks, it's an A. It's a full consensus. We're talking A.
The only thing stopping it from S in my book is that typically, like, it's part of the appeal to me that it might even detract from the gameplay experience, that it is just a dumb thing to do. But that kind of gives it the upper limit for me.
It's not like
For
a
something to be
load-bearing
S,
mechanic.
Right. It's got to really be
Yeah.
making the game. This is a fun lark, though. And it's about as fun as a fun lark can get. A final answer.
I have another good one.
Give me.
This is line 80. This is just based on what was said earlier in our intro. Materia.
So is this? I haven't played a whole lot of RPGs. Is that just it's just a Final Fantasy thing? Right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a Final Fantasy VII. They don't ever do it
Ever bring
again.
it back?
No, they
Never.
should. It's good. At least I feel it is.
I mean, it's fucking good. If you don't know, folks, if you never played Final Fantasy VII, 1, you should. 2, your weapons and you have one piece of armor.
It's a
you can
bangle.
equip. Yeah, you have bangles, and they have little holes in them, and you can put funny rocks in the holes, and those funny rocks are called materia, and they are what gives you shit to do. Because if you have no materia, what can you do? Nothing. You just kind of stand there like an asshole.
You can hit attack. They also level up independently, so that's really a key element here. Is like all your orbs are your babies that you raise so you can cast better spells.
Yeah. And it's beautiful. It's very familial, and they live on a big family tree.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever beaten a Final Fantasy game. I'm going to admit it. I played 7 a ways after it came out. I think I was too young when that came. I played it like on PS2. Like I got the backwards compatible, whatever the fuck. I didn't play it when it was coming out. But then I played X and X2, but I don't think I beat those either. And I think a lot of it is my brain just... That kind of RPG mechanic, skill trees and stuff, when it gets really elaborate like that, my brain's just like...
You do not respect a sphere grid, is what I'm hearing.
No, I get sick of the spheres. I get sphered out. And I think I quit all of those before. They're just too fucking long.
They really are.
X2 is fun because the premise is like, what if the girls wanted to have some fun?
Yeah, what if the girls had a slut summer?
It is
100% though. That one came out when I was 11, and I had played, or maybe 12. I had played FFX, and I remember in like Game Pro magazine that showing up, and I was like, "Oh shit, dude! Oh shit, dude! Ain't fucking anime chicks, dude!" Oh,
it's so funny that it's the first time that they've ever been so happy with the Final Fantasy world that they're going to make a direct sequel. Every other Final Fantasy world after that game, all these characters and all this world building, that's in the trash. You're never going to see it again. The first time they ever, like, these characters in this world are so strong that we have to go back to this well. However, one of the 3 main characters would be a goth GF you've never met before. And you're going to go in and you're going to be thinking, how did I forget Pain? She's so important. How did I forget about her from 10? No, you didn't. She just showed up.
She's the new girl at school.
Huh. Think about materia. So materia is fun because you can sort of play with your marbles.
That's cool.
I gotta like
It's a fidget.
However, here's the downside. 1, you gotta fucking like stress over whether your bangle has connected slots or not.
Yeah.
Because there's the all materia that makes a spell connected to it hit all targets.
I do feel that is a betrayal of Final Fantasy because you're supposed to just be able to hit L and R to automatically hit everyone with the spell at a much weaker intensity. They took that from you.
That was the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fucking Final Fantasies 1 through 6, that was how you did it. You either just shot one person or you shot everyone, but it wasn't as good.
There wasn't some asshole making you pay a toll for all.
Here's the other problem. And I guess this isn't really a problem. It's just sort of like something to consider. Is that like, because the materia is like its own thing. So if you put like all the healing stuff on Aerith and she becomes #1 healing person and like really is great at that, and then you're like, I didn't know the big twist that she died.
Oh, she just goes on vacation.
I didn't know the big twist that she gets
on a bus
on semester abroad.
Sabbatical.
And you're just like, oh no, well, now who's my healer? It's like, well, you just take her fucking marbles and you put them on someone else, and now that person is exactly the same as Aerith in every way. And like, because of that, like, you got the great Final Fantasy VII cast of characters who are also distinct and lovable, except for the awful cat who
What
is on
is
a
that?
second cat.
His name is Numbers.
No, you're talking about Red 13. I'm talking about Kate Sith, dude. That's another cat. There's nothing but cats in it.
That's
There's
a
3
cat.
full cats.
There are 2 duds on this cast, dude. Like, it's not great.
But I mean, but we have some characters that are really distinctive and memorable. However, like, you don't get that in the gameplay because they just are whatever marbles you put on them, and you can switch their whole deal at a moment's notice. So it's not like, oh, you see Tifa and you're like, she's a martial artist who fights. Great. And it's like, well, you could just put all this magic on her and it would be exactly the fucking same as if you put it on someone who looks like they know what magic is. I'm fucking getting in the weeds. I'm just bitching. I like the marbles.
I'll put it as B. I would say it's a B.
That's a C for me. Dog.
Ooh, I'm the tiebreaker. Okay, here's why I'm thinking C as well. Because I think it's not as good as B. Sorry. I know, here's the real reason. It's because it's like I'm thinking about like what, like dropping it into other games. That's my thing. Like if I just dropped this into another game, would it generally make the game better? And I'm thinking no. It, like most of the time, it would make it a little fiddly and weird. But if you design the game around it, like Final Fantasy VII, like Final Fantasy, you can't say Final Fantasy VII is not fun. Yeah, obviously, it's insane to beat the entire game because the pacing gets so like, but the beginning is great, and you got to have your marbles. That's C. It's C, folks. It's C.
It's C. I just don't think it's that fun of a mechanic, but it's not awful. And also, just they're all like if you're gonna have power ups and shit that you collect. Like I want it to be like a cool flaming hair guy or something, not orbs. You know what I'm saying? Like I want like a cool shield with some shit on it, or like a gun.
That's actually a very good point because like it sort of feels like they're an abstraction.
Yeah,
you know,
just
like it's like these aren't real. But then like there are times when like your guys like find a marble on the ground and like pick it up and realize like this is a Batarium. It's like wait, really?
And then you put that in your
marbles
shirt.
Is real.
Make them more decorative. Like at least give them like a flaming effect, or like one of them is like the sexy materia.
It's got like a big ass. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, okay. So I think maybe we have one or two more mechanics to rank. This one, I think you should be very honored that I'm pulling this out because this is like a really iconic video game mechanic, and I think one that's there's a lot to discuss. Gun.
Gun is great. It's a good thing it had to get because gun in real life, right? Pretty cool. I mean, a lot of bad stuff happens because of
this
gun,
is our stance on it. It's like it sucks that guns are real because they are cool.
If it was like just from movies and video games, like guns would be like, I would be like the guy who like knows all the different like calibers, but because they're real, it's like if I know that, then like people are gonna be like, that's a militia guy.
In a vacuum, shooting a gun. I grew up like on and off in the South. I have shot some guns. It's a really fun time. The mechanics, interesting. Just making a piece of metal going super fast and shoot and blow up a can of fucking seltzer water or something. That's sick. But all the other stuff. It's not
like
good.
When it's a guy's head, it's kind of a bummer, you know?
Yeah. Many, and this might be a controversial statement, but many bad things happen as a result. But in the pure fantastical world, the gamer's world, in which we sometimes reside, it's all positive, no negative. And you ain't got to wear hearing protection. You ain't have to oil barrel. You ain't got to go to range, talk to a weird racist guy. You know? It's all the good with none of the bad. So I think like video game, perfect place for gun. I give this shit an S.
I'm inclined to put it up there as well. The other thing we have to consider, which is just a wonderful video game thing, is like if you have a gun that has a magazine of 8 bullets and you shoot one and you reload it instantly and you just put, I guess, one bullet in the... you know what I mean? Like, what is happening here? It's wonderful.
Just throw those rounds on the ground because they don't cost anything. It's the gamer's world, a better world.
The gamer's world. Oh my god, the gamer's world. Ammo is just rotating. It's floating a couple inches off the ground and rotating, and you touch it, and you got
That's
it. That's
awesome.
Okay. Here's the thing about gun, especially in games.
Speak on it.
You just shoot. You just shoot it, and like and like that's and the guys like they get hit, and like that's the game. And I think this is why. Okay. I could possibly see a world where this is A, but it could never be lower than that, because like there could be a game where the only thing is gun. Actually, hold up.
Many such cases.
Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
Duck Hunt. That's just gun.
That's right. And the gun, you know, the abstraction of it made tangible in our realm, communing with the gamer's realm.
It was the key between worlds.
This list of game mechanics is not complete, because actually what you're describing, light gun, like the actual physical, that's a different thing. I'm just talking about gun abstract.
But they're connected, though, are they?
They are connected.
Semiotically, yes.
Yes. There is definitely,
like the materia slots. They are intrinsically linked, and their benefits feed each other.
This is true. And I think that, here's the thing. Gun benefits from light gun and is always made better by light gun, but light gun is not always relevant in the same way that gun is always relevant.
That's
because like
true.
if you were playing like, I don't know, Mario? No, actually, I was going to say if you were playing Mario, light gun wouldn't help. But do you ever play that game Gumshoe for the NES where it is a light gun Mario? It's the impossible game.
It's a guy walking to the right, and then you basically have to just shoot all his obstacles so he doesn't have problems.
But
That's
also,
pretty cool.
in order to make him jump, you have to shoot him, and
That's awesome.
it is an impossible. Like you're supposed to play it at a distance as like a shooting gallery. That cannot be done. Even if you have the light gun on the screen, this game cannot be done. It is impossible.
Damn, that's no good. What about a hypothetical dark and gritty reboot of Mario where he's got a frickin' Glock, boys? What do you think about that?
You're talking about Shadow the Hedgehog.
He's
You just
rolling
described Shadow the
He's rolling
Hedgehog.
up on Bowser. And I don't have to jump on an axe, shoot some at Mario with a gun. Are you kidding me? That's gangster SpongeBob levels.
I mean, there was Yoshi Safari, which was a Super Scope game where Mario had a gun. You rode
I forgot about this.
You rode on the back of Yoshi, and you, I guess for lack of a better word, we're just like do a huge drive-by on the entire Mushroom Kingdom.
He's on some Mongolian horse archer type shit.
Yes, he is.
That's awesome. Damn. Mario turns around in the Yoshi saddle, fires backwards. A tactic, groundbreaking.
That game also allows you, and I don't know why, you can shoot Yoshi in the back of the head, and he looks back at you like, you asshole.
You know what this does is it makes gun seem like the funnest thing on earth. Here's another thing. I haven't played this game, but I have seen this. There is a Dark Souls like about you're a hermit crab.
That's tight.
And you're under the sea, and you fight other sea creatures, and your weapons are like fucking like trash from the seafloor. However, there is unlike other Dark Souls games, there is an easy mode. And the easy mode is your guy gets a gun, and your little hermit crab is holding a gun, and it kills all enemies in one shot. And it's the funniest fucking thing on earth, because it's like the big boss shows up, the boss does its intro cutscene, you see the boss's like funny gimmick and their cool design, and then it cuts back to like, all right, now is your chance to fight, and you just boom, hit him with the gun, dead. Fight over.
Is this another Crab's Treasure?
Yes, it is, because you're always using trash. That's why it's called that. Another
good.
Crab's Treasure.
I gotta
It's got
play
the
this.
gun
This
mode.
sounds tight. Love hermit crabs. Love sea life. Love gun. Let's fucking go together.
I'm putting
at
gun
last.
in S.
Gun is S.
Gun and S.
Gun's
You
S.
Can't spell gun without S, folks. Put it on the board.
It's on the board, folks. We got gun in S.
You know what else is a great mechanic? The end of podcast mechanic.
Yeah, because that's what we're doing right now. We have ranked gun in S, game letting you get drunk in A, and materia in C. This is incredible. At this rate, we'll be done in a little over a decade.
We just need to do one more app.
Anyway, that's all the time we got for Anime Sickles. Dono, that was so fucking fun. I'm so glad you're able to join us. Behind the scenes, folks, it took like 1,000,000 years to get this set up for no reason.
Yeah.
Just circumstances. God didn't want it to happen.
I was not
but
jealous
fuck
of Tom's
God.
new friend. Okay, I just had stuff going on. I'm having a very good time. I was only a little jealous, okay?
Where can people find you and your work if they want it? Which they should.
Which they
Why
should.
wouldn't they?
They should. In fact, if you're listening to this, you do want my work. You want to hear my shit. Thank you both for having me on. This was very fun.
Hell yeah, our pleasure.
If you want to hear more relationship stuff, my podcast is Radio Free Tote Bag, a dating, relationship, mental health advice. Write in whatever the fuck you want, to be honest. I talk about paleontology on there sometimes, but we generally keep it pretty focused. We got guests on, we interview them. We've had some mutual people on. Any of the worst of all possible worlds guys. Those episodes are all excellent. They're great. RFTB.me is the website. Just look up Radio Free Tote Bag. Nothing else is called that because it's a really stupid name. It doesn't tell you anything about it. I thought I was going to do 10 episodes.
I mean, we know from podcast titles that don't tell you anything about the content of the show. That's not foreign to us, and we understand the appeal.
We appreciate you as a fellow soldier, in fact.
Thank you. So check that out. And then I make synth music. I'm starting to finally put stuff on the fucking internet. I'm on SoundCloud or Bandcamp, and there's different stuff on fucking both of them. I'm trying to figure this shit out, man. Donovan Eyre, DONOVANEYRE. Nobody else is called that also, so you will find me in like shit I did in high school. And if you're in Chicago, I like playing shows this year, but I'm not really on social media right now, so I don't know how you can find out about that. Listen to my show and I'll tell you about it.
Hell yeah. That'll do. Yeah, that's an acceptable answer. Well, this kicked ass. I feel like this was an all-timer.
Yes, thank you. Sorry for how long it took to get it happening.
On my end, too, man. Just fucking holidays and getting sick and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, and it was God's fault. God did it to us.
God did it.
No one's to blame other than him, who is to blame for all things. Anyway.
Amen.
Until next time, I've been Tom, an anime sicko.
I've been Joe, an anime sicko.
I have been Donovan. I'm an anime sicko.
Hell yeah. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Tom Harrison. Joe was also a sicko. You can follow him on Blue Sky at Sharia Uncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Blue Sky at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. You can give us money at patreon.com/Anime Sickos if you want. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.